I never thought retirement would mean watching a building die, but the clubhouse did. It collapsed in a roar of mud and glass on a December night when the gala lights were brightest, taking with it the illusion that rules could hold back water. I warned them. I warned them 7 times. They laughed. They called it fear-mongering. They voted to celebrate anyway. My name is Russell Merrick. 61 years old, retired federal hydrologist, widower, and the owner of a small house on the western ridge of Clearwater Hollow, a subdivision in Tucson, Arizona, where every roof was red tile and every smile came with a clipboard. I bought the place for the quiet, for the view of the basin where a creek ran lazy in summer and angry in spring. I thought I could leave the noise behind, the noise of 30 years mapping floodplains, writing risk reports, watching governments ignore data until bridges fell. The clubhouse was the HOA's pride. 2 stories of stucco and glass built in 6 months flat, opened with jazz and wine tastings. Karen Risson, HOA president, called it our crown jewel. I called it a bathtub with no drain. From day 1 of construction, I saw the signs. Shallow foundation on honey clay soil, no geotechnical survey, compaction skipped, gravel dumped loose. I walked the site during pours, watched contractors cut corners to meet Karen's gala deadline. The first time I felt the itch was a Tuesday in August. I'd been pruning my mesquite when the backhoe roared to life downhill. I wandered over, boots crunching on fresh gravel, and watched them pour the rear slab. The forms were shallow, 18 inches at most. The soil beneath was that sticky honey clay I knew from 100 field reports. It looked firm, but I knew better. I knelt, pressed my palm into the dirt beside the pad. It gave just enough to worry me. I said nothing that day. This wasn't my fight. I was retired. I had tomatoes to water. But the itch grew. By September, the walls were up, glass installed, and the first rain came. A 3-day soaker that turned the basin into a mirror. I stood on my deck with coffee, watching water pool against the clubhouse's back patio. It wasn't draining. It was rising. I felt the old pull, the same one that had kept me up nights in the field when a levee looked wrong or a dam's pressure gauge twitched. I drafted the first letter that night. Not angry, not accusatory. Professional. Russell Merrick, retired USGS hydrologist, 33 years experience. Observations on Clearwater Hollow clubhouse construction. Recommend deeper footings, geotechnical survey, stormwater redirection. I attached topo maps, historical flood data from 2006 and 2012, even a simple sketch of French drains they could install for under $5,000. I dropped it at the HOA office on a Thursday. The receptionist, a tired woman named Linda, took it with a polite smile. "Karen will see this," she said. I nodded, but her eyes said otherwise. Friday brought the reply. Boilerplate thank you. All construction managed by certified engineers in compliance with state code. I read it twice, then folded it into my file cabinet under W for warnings ignored. The second storm hit in October. 3 days of rain, heavier than the first. I watched from my window as water lapped the clubhouse foundation, seeping under doors. A groundskeeper named Miguel tried sandbags. Too late. Wrong place. I felt the helplessness I'd known in the field when a town voted to build in a floodplain anyway. I sent another packet. Drone photos, soil saturation readings at 48%, projected failure points. I walked it to Karen's porch myself. She answered in yoga pants, coffee in hand. "Russell, we're fine," she said, smile tight. "Our contractor has 30 years experience." "He should have caught this," I said. She closed the door. The third time, I went to the monthly HOA meeting. I waited until open comments, stood with my documents. Subsurface erosion at the western slope. Saturation at 55%. One heavy storm and the rear elevation slumps. Brad Whitmore chuckled. "Russell, this isn't the Army Corps. It's a clubhouse." The room laughed. Karen added, "We built this for joy, not fear." They voted 78% to hold the winter gala in the clubhouse. December 16th. Full attendance. Formal attire. I stopped talking to the board. I started talking to the land. I staked water markers, buried soil sensors, flew a thermal drone weekly. The data screamed. Saturation climbed to 72%. The slope shifted 2 inches. I filed with the city, public hazard report, full documentation. They replied, "Private structure." no jurisdiction. The gala invitations went out. Glossy, triumphant. I received a violation notice, $175 for disseminating alarmist material. CC'd to every household. The rain came December 14th. 3 inches in 24 hours. My sensors flatlined, one swallowed by a new fissure. I hiked down at 3 a.m. The rear lawn had opened a 3-foot crack. I photographed, logged, sent to the fire marshal, the mayor, a reporter. No response. Gala night. 5 p.m. Lights glowed. Cars arrived. Jazz drifted up the hill. I watched from my deck, drone in the air. At 6:51 p.m., the lawn dropped. Not slowly. It collapsed. The rear third of the clubhouse tore away, slid into the creek in a roar of mud and screams. Glass shattered. Beams snapped. The roof sagged, then fell. I called 911. Clearwater Hollow clubhouse collapsed. People inside. Sirens came fast. 7 injured. Samantha Kershaw, 32, pulled from the rubble with a broken leg and crushed shoulder. She lived because Carol Jensen, my neighbor, got my text, "Get out now," and dragged 5 people with her. Karen stood in the mud, gown ruined, face white. "Unforeseeable," she said. I held up my phone, drone footage playing. "I sent you 7 warnings." The city investigated. HOA skipped permits, used reclaimed fill, paid $40,000 in bonuses to rush construction. Karen took a plea. 2 years probation, $2 million restitution. Brad lost his law license. The HOA dissolved. They built a green space where the clubhouse stood. Wildflowers, benches, a plaque. Listen to the land. I joined the safety panel. We wrote new rules, third-party inspections, open archives, whistleblower protection. Karen moved away. Samantha sued and won. The basin healed. I still walk the ridge at dawn. The creek runs clear. The ground holds firm. But let's back up. It started with the land itself. 5 acres of scrub and mesquite, bought for $62,000 at auction after the old owner died without heirs. The county called it reclamation eligible, code for nobody wanted it. I did. I saw the basin, the ridge, the way the morning light hit the water like a promise. I saw a place to build something that would outlast me. I spent the first month clearing brush, grading the drive, sinking fence posts. The soil was thin, the rocks stubborn, but I worked sunrise to sunset. My hands blistered, then calloused. My back ached, then strengthened. I slept in the bunkhouse with a propane heater and a battery lantern, eating chili from a can and dreaming of walls that would keep the wind out for good. The clubhouse broke ground in July. I watched from my deck as the backhoe dug the foundation. The hole was shallow, 18 inches. I knew honey clay when I saw it. I felt the first tug of duty, the same one that had kept me up nights in the field when a levee looked wrong. I sent the first letter in September. Not angry. Professional. Observations on clubhouse construction. Recommend deeper footings, geotechnical survey. I attached maps, data, sketches. Linda at the HOA office took it with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. The reply came Friday. Boilerplate. Certified engineers. I folded it into my file cabinet under W for warnings ignored. October's storm turned the basin into a lake. I watched water lap the patio, seep under doors. Miguel with sandbags. Too late. I sent another packet. Drone photos, saturation at 48%. I walked it to Karen's porch. She answered in yoga pants. "We're fine," she said. Door closed. November's meeting. I stood with documents. Saturation at 55%. One heavy storm. Brad chuckled. Karen, joy, not fear. Vote, 78% for Gala. I stopped talking. I started listening to the land. Sensors, drone markers. Saturation 72%. Slope shifted 2 inches. City, no jurisdiction. Gala invitations. Glossy. I got fined $175 for alarmist material. December 14th rain. 3 inches. Sensors swallowed by fissure. 3 a.m. Hike. 3-foot crack. Photos, logs, sent to marshal, mayor, reporter. Gala night. Lights, jazz, laughter. Drone at 6:51. Lawn dropped. Rear third tore away. Screams. Collapse. 911. 7 injured. Samantha lived because Carol got my text. Karen in mud. Unforeseeable. I showed footage. 7 warnings. Investigation. Skipped permits, $40,000 bonuses. Karen, 2 years probation, $2 million. Brad, license suspended. HOA dissolved. Green space. Wildflowers. Plaque, listen to the land. I walked the ridge at dawn. Creek clear. Ground firm. What about you? Ever spoken truth to power and been called a troublemaker? Ever watched denial build until it collapsed? Share below, where do you stand when warnings are ignored? When ego costs lives? Your story matters. I read every one.